For many years I had this vision that I could impart to children that they are artists, that everyone is an artist.
It sets a certain climate and a tone in the school. You can sense it when you go in. You hear music, you hear the drum beat, you hear children singing.
It blends the teaching of the art forms with a sense of learning about self and learning about culture.
This program is truly unique, and I don't know of any other one in the city of Philadelphia that could even compare to the program that we have here.
The EM Stanton students are very lucky that they have a cultural arts program at their school. The arts are a great tool for learning, and those students that are a part of the cultural arts experience are changed forever.
If we can learn about other people's cultures and be more open to other people's ways who are not only similar to us but also different, then perhaps, maybe, we can bring a little more peace to the world. We teach the cultures of the arts through the 4 art forms, which are visual arts, music, drama, and dance.
There is a way to teach, whether you are teaching a 3rd grade class, 6th grade class, you're teaching English. It doesn't matter. You can incorporate the arts because the arts breathe life into your teaching.
There is something that is there, present almost in the atmosphere of the school, when a school is enriched with not only one art form, but 2, 3, 4 art forms.
Me personally, I think that there's a strong or deep need for kids to be creative. And if you could show kids a way into culture which empowers them, then the culture is real for them.
Many people send their children to private schools for the reason that they want them to have enrichment and all these goodies that they know in their hearts that are important to children. The arts, the sports. And so why shouldn't the children in the city schools have the same, or in any school actually?
When the arts become central to the learning environment, schools become a place of discovery. And when that discovery takes place, that's the magic of the arts.
It's important to teach the cultures of the world through the 4 art forms, the visual arts, the music, the drama, and the dance, so that we are tapping into the various talents of the children, that somehow they'll find their passion in one of those 4 art forms, or maybe all of them, hopefully. And again, it's exposure, and sometimes kids don't even know that they're talented in one area or the other until they've tried it.
I think that the idea to bring many different art forms together is the way to really paint a wholesome picture, because all of the arts are somehow interrelated.
I belong to an interfaith community called Bainbridge House, so I spent a lot of time in this neighborhood, and they were very involved in the EM Stanton School.
We've been able to raise the necessary funds. We do that by writing for grants, and we do that by asking for individuals to make contributions.
I really wanted to integrate my life more into where I was spending a lot of my time, because as a teacher, I really think it's important that you are part of the community where you are teaching.
She was fortunate enough to be able to do that, and she then began to realize a dream that she had had about how to take the 4 art forms and expose children to those 4 art forms and teach about culture.
We started out in this room with nothing. We had no supplies, we had no furniture, and over the last 10 years, through building relationships with people in the school, in the community, and raising funds from many, many sources, we built this into quite an enrichment program. And so we created a museum type thing. Each continent has its own display with artifacts, and then underneath the displays, there are many, many, many wonderful books that relate to those cultures.
I met Sue Cattell, and of course, she took me into her room, as she does anyone who comes across her path in the school. And I was just amazed, because you could just feel the arts come alive in her room.
When Diane Highsmith came, our current principal, she is truly an arts person, and at every turn she would say, go for it, go for it.
My heart has always been in the arts, and so when I was introduced to the Stanton staff and had a chance to get a bird's eye view, because I'd just come to Stanton 6 years ago, as to what was going on in the arts program, I was truly impressed.
The goal here is to really just keep exposing the children to as much as we can in the world, because for me, education is really about justice. It's a justice issue for me. All children need equal opportunity, and they need the enrichment. And of course, they need their reading and math, which is so important. But there are also other avenues through which we can use the arts to teach those and enrich those subjects.
The fact that our arts program integrates the other curriculum areas helps our students to see the world differently.
The whole child is being educated. They're not just learning how to read, write, and do math, but they're also learning about how to think in a more complex fashion.
Being a part of a team, being creative, being disciplined, being open to change and suggestion, being sensitive to people who may be of a different culture. This is what makes a lifelong learner and a productive citizen in our society.
What's really important is that no matter what you're trying to create for young people, is that when you have the passion, that you keep your mind open, you have your ears open, you have your eyes open, and you find out that you take what you have, your own interests and your own talents, and then you find other people to supplement it, to build on that.
When she meets people, she finds a way for them to become a part of the Stanton community.
For example, last year during the Thailand unit, a parent came in and was able to share a traditional Thailand dish, which is something that particular parent felt so proud and really enjoyed doing.
Well, actually it gives me something to do with them, to get involved, to expand their horizons with different cultures. It's just different.
Well, I had tears in my eye at anything they do, like they performance, they they come home with a nice award or something. I just don't let me see them cry because I'm strong.
Over a period of time, I came to really believe and think that let's do all the 4 art forms and let's call it cultural arts. So that as we're doing a culture, we're incorporating the geography. If we're doing Australia, where is Australia? What oceans surround Australia? Who are the people? Where did they come from?
We have been approaching it at Stanton for the last 4 years. I see it as thematic teaching. Is that I may come in, we always have a theme, and we based on that theme, we try to develop some sort of unit of study. And through dance, music, visual arts, and theater, we try to meld all of these elements together within the context of the curriculum and performance.
The Cultural Arts Program at Stanton is unique because it doesn't teach the art forms as separate entities.
This is the Aborigine piece, and what is the instrument? What is the instrument? The didgeridoo. We're working on, we are exploring Australia. So I'm working with the students on an Aborigine piece. They have to understand the relationship of man and his relationship to earth and to the environment. And that's something that you focus on. So other teachers may be exploring the literature or the artwork that comes from that particular culture. So it's thematic teaching across the board, but it's a little bit more in depth. I always try to start my class with a warm-up because a dance is a time-space art form. So I try to introduce to the students at a very early part of the school year that the body is the instrument. Going from the plie, 1, I want the focus of the face, 1. I like to try to introduce whatever new movements that I'm going to add to the choreography. I try to introduce them during that warm-up. Last May, this Philadelphia School District has the citywide dance, where all schools that have a dance program would showcase their numbers. And my students from Stanton were on the stage dancing, and their CDs started sticking. The byproduct of that, of their training, was that they continued to dance. The audience started clapping. They did not leave the stage. They performed as if that music was still going. And so I cried. I was in the back of Irvine Auditorium, and I cried because of the training, the discipline that those students had. And the byproduct is just as important, is just as strong as that actual art experience, because that student in dance that learns how to pull the body up has that same confidence when they leave that dance room and they're walking down the hall. That posture has changed. Their way of thinking has changed. Their outlook of the world is changed, because the arts allow students that freedom to explore those things. I try to do collaborations with the other art teacher, with the music teachers, and with the choir teachers. Let's incorporate all of these art forms into one performance.
We have 21 djembes in here. I started with one djembe, and because most of the students are African American, I thought it was really important and to focus on that culture as well as all the cultures of the world.
The notion that she transformed her space into a drumming circle. There's something, I think, very intuitive about that kind of activity that speaks to the soul of the children.
And then Ms. Nana walked in the door one day through some other connection that we had and saw that we had a lot of drums and knew that we were serious about this.
We learn about working together. We learned that discipline, one has to be disciplined themselves in order to carry that discipline over to drumming, that one has to be committed, that one has to have self-respect, respect for the instruments, respect for each other. I'm here for the whole school term. And so I can start a project, I can watch a child learn and grow. And I can see how the children grow in their discipline, they grow in their appreciation of the arts, they grow in terms of applying the art to their other fields of learning. To collaborate really is like planting new seeds. I learned so much from the collaboration with children, because when I hear a rhythm, my association with that rhythm is my own process, but each person has their process. And so when they are allowed to express their selves, we're able to add, and we're able to grow, and we're able to see more of ourselves and the world.
I did a collaboration, I guess it was back with Nana Karanthama, who's the drum teacher. And she had her drumming students, and she did introduce some elements of drumming. And through dance, with the drummers, I introduced the audience, which were the parents and students, to elements of African dance. So again, even though we are still working separately, we still come together.
Yes, Singing City actually worked for about 10 weeks in a school, and then they moved on to another school. That was their usual plan of operation. But I guess when they came here and saw that we were so serious about the work and that we followed through and created a nice space for them to be in, that they've been here 3 years.
You remember what we called the 5 lines and the 4 spaces that we put notes on?
The program has 2 aspects to it. One is singing, obviously, and the other is allowing the children to compose their own songs, which is quite remarkable. And then the culmination of the project is the children singing the songs that they have written along with our resident composer, Andrew Bleckner.
There is a collaboration between myself and the students in the creation of the song, but the real, I would say, the spark of creativity, that what the song is about, the feeling, the emotions, the words, that's all the students. There's maybe 4 stages. Stage 1, the kids work with their classroom teacher and they write a poem. It doesn't have to be a sophisticated poem, it doesn't even have to rhyme. Step 2, we put the poems down and we have a series of improvisation games which are designed to open up the students. Stage 3 of the songwriting process is that I work one-on-one with each kid. I record them singing the poems that they created. And at that point, they are opened up from the games, the improvisation games, so they kind of sing their poems freely.
He hears the song, he takes it, and then he makes it into a sheet of music, and we see how it goes, and then that gets turned into a real song, which you sing during Singing City.
When you say to a child, you're going to compose a song, that's unfathomable to them, and really to anybody. I mean, most people look at composers and say, I could never do that. How do they do that? But I think as they go through life and that voice appears, can I do this? I think the answer will be yes, in part because at an early age, they learned that they could do something that they didn't think they could do.
There was a young boy named Najee Graves who wrote a song. We worked together on writing a song. And he hadn't heard the arrangement for voice and piano. So I had him up here and I said, Najee, you want to hear your song with the piano? And I sang him the song and he just was speechless.
Najee in particular was just taken aback by that opportunity to compose music, and it's really been an empowering experience for him.